Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. We'll be about 15, 20 minutes as promised. I'll have you in and out of here because just for transparency, we were a little bit behind on schedule today on our Thought Leader Thursdays. Every Thursday, we have this section of our channel and our live series where I'm coming on here and building thought leaders. This used to be our town hall inside of our Discord. So if you're not inside of our Discord, check the links down below. We'd love to have you inside there. You can just join our Thought Leader Hub. And that is where we have our book club, where we chat with other professionals and thought leaders and challenge each other. Whether you're growing a business, you're entrepreneurial, you're trying to advance in your career, you're healing your relationship with yourself, trying to discover your purpose, all those good things. So today we'll discuss not only from your wholeness, like checking in with you, make sure you're good, right? We'll check and we talk about a little bit of current events. I would say this is a little bit more of the lax Dr. B, just kind of getting you, a little bit more familiar, just like a chat, right, for a second. So we'll chat about the plane crash a little bit. A lot of news is happening. I mean, Trump's tariffs are still on watch right now. Just a lot of stuff going on. If y'all noticed, a lot of stuff going on. All right. And then obviously the economy, we'll chat about that. And today's topic of discussion will be how to resist worry. So I always try to give just a little bit of a message so, people can ease the angst or how to overcome a question that they're kind of, just thinking about. All right. So let me know where you're tuning in. Cap Game Strong. Yeah. I need to get some new ones, man. I feel like my rotation's been, and really the real reason, to be honest with you, why people are like, they're good conversation starters, right? They're Going Bros. People have asked about them before. And if you know Plies, okay, if y'all are a Plies fan and you used to see Plies, I was like, man, that's a good fitting hat. I got a big head, you know what I'm saying? So it's very deep. It fits me good. And that's the real reason I just kind of got hooked onto them, but they're good conversation starters. But yeah, anyways, we'll chat for a little bit and get up out of here. All right, as always, we read off our creed. So I'll pull that up really quick, and yeah, we'll get to it. Appreciate you, Dennis, as always. If y'all don't know who Dennis is, he's a part of the community. Ben's also part of the community. We're trying to up-level Ben into the university. Been trying to do that for the past 6 months. So whenever Ben's ready, appreciate your value, Ben, that you give in our community and whatnot. And just how we met, to be honest with you. We never got to link in Dallas, but whenever you're in Vegas or you ever get out here, we ever link, I think it'd be dope, man. I think it'd be dope. All right. Let's pull this up. Do. Alrighty. All right. Here's our creed. We read this off each town hall or now Thought Leader Thursdays here on the YouTube channel. This is what I created about 4 years ago, just as a mantra for myself, and I decided to share with the community. I am a powerful thought leader. I choose abundance and joy over fear and uncertainty. Every day I'm empowered to be just 1% better and maximize my zone of genius. My unwavering spirit will shake the world, and today I have the power and permission to show up unapologetically me. So if you don't have a mantra for your life, a little creed for your life, maybe it is a scripture for you, something, but I highly recommend that you create something. If you want to take a piece of this, because people used to ask me like, Brian, who do you serve? Who's in your community? And I'm like, man, are they business owners? Are they professionals? Am I a professional? Like, am I a pharmacist or am I an entrepreneur? Like, it doesn't matter the title that you're placed within society. In my opinion, I love the thought leader idea because Dennis, Ben, whoever's on here rewatching or comes in late and's on here live, you are a thought leader. You have ideas, experiences, and special skills that no one else has. You are created with your own DNA that God perfectly formed you just the way you are. And when people realize that and they realize their power, they may need a little bit of a nudge from someone else that said, man, like you're really good at such and such. Or like, man, like you're really good conversationalist. Or like, man, you're really good with your hands. Or wow, I love your energy. Like you're just every time you smile, you just bring so much joy and light to the room. Right. So these little things and nuances that people kind of pass over, it's like, that's just something I do. Like those are the things that I try to bring out in people in our community. It's like, you don't realize that even if you don't choose to monetize that, that is something that someone else does not have. And if you choose to monetize it, people are monetizing any and everything these days. So you can choose to say, man, I can just be a smile model. I can, man, you got really nice hands, like your hands and nails are always put together. I mean, you could be a hand model, you know? Not saying you got to monetize everything, but it's just like these recognition of like what is good for you, and you're a thought leader in that. All right. Let's jump into value today. And as always, I want to just kind of describe here. Let's type in worry really quick. Okay. Give way to anxiety or unease, allowing one mind to dwell on the difficulties and or troubles, a state of anxiety or uncertainty over actual or potential problems. This word anxious, and because I have a medical background, and I'll make this short and sweet because I know people want to get to the economy piece, but we need to start off like there's a lot of experiences that someone's had from Monday now through a Thursday, right? And you've had work, you've had family, you've had kids, you're trying to solve problems. It's end of the month, you got paid bills. It's just so this anxious feeling like there is an actual medical disorder, right? An anxiety disorder, mental illness. And I was talking with a good friend today, and we were chatting about this, and he was talking about the way to success and the way to like a purpose driven life and where people are actually trying to go is the level of stress that you can maintain and handle. And some stressors you choose to put yourself in that position, and other stressors it may come on to you, but you're able to reframe it into a positive outcome, right? And what I've noticed, and I talk to my audience, most of my audiences of, maybe your mid 80s baby, early 80s baby, early 90s, whatever. But like, I'm just talking about my millennials and Gen X's. That's majority of my audience. We are presented with more opportunities, i.e., problems, or trying to solve daily things every day. And this level of like angst or stress or worry begins to come on like, man, what's going to happen? Like, is this money going to be here? Or maybe I shouldn't pay for this, or maybe I should just hoard the money that I have. Cause like, what if I can't get it back? Right. Or I'm just going to stay in this relationship because it's just serving me right now. But like, am I really working in my relationship or on my relationship with my friends, my partner, my kids, whatever? Am I being intentional? And that was a big eye opener for me as I began to scale and scale and scale and scale. And I wanted to like be better for myself. Is okay, you want to ask for more, God's going to present you with more, but is going to be a steward and a responsibility for you to handle more. And this constant, I don't know, like it's just, it's never going to feel good when you're right where you need to be. Like none of us want something to be easy. We say we want it to be easy, but if you were just handed this, oh, let me just trade for you. It might feel good, right? Let's be real. Like, oh, Brian, just that's what you try to get back your time. Like just but if you're really working on something for my sports people, do you want to just be handed a Super Bowl ring? You want to just be handed a World Series, a national championship? You just want to be handed the job, like you skip all the steps. It's like, oh, you want to be CEO of the company? And you're like, and you get in the position, you're like, man, this is it. Because it doesn't feel like you've worked for that excelling into that position. So, in summary, how to resist or deal with worry or angst in this season. My method that I've been doing is actually welcoming it in more. It's like, man, this is good. This is hard. This is challenging. This is wonderful. Oh man, like there's there's a plane crash that like how I'm worried like maybe I won't get on the plane, and why did that happen, and don't they know that the military helicopter, like how does that even happen, and like people are worried and have angst for some about how that energy carries over into their own life because it's just not making sense. And when we don't have extreme clarity and it's a little bit like blurry in life, people start to get a little bit anxious or worried, which is why we ask a lot of questions, which is why we hesitate on decision making. Well, I need all the facts before I do X, Y, and Z. It's like, well, what if you had 85% of the facts and 85% of the information? Don't you think that you'll figure out the next 15%? Then it's time to leap. It's time to take a chance on yourself. Maybe some people don't even need 85%. They just need 60. Oh, I'll figure out the next 40. I just need to be above 50%. I'll figure out the next 40%. But I need to get in the game, right? I need to figure out what the problem is while I'm working through what I'm working through, or asking the right questions, or being around the right people. So I just felt on my heart center to bring that to everybody really quick before we jump into the trading, just because I've just noticed there's a lot of like, everyone I've spoken to lately, I can feel their energy. Like it's like a very protective barrier right now, which I understand. It's like I just want to ease into some things, or I need to. It's not like maybe 2020, 2021, 2022. We were all on Clubhouse just going ham, going in. Oh, I need to start this. I need to do X, Y, and Z. I need to do this. Now it's like a trust recession is what I've been talking about as of late, which is a real thing. If y'all didn't know, there's actually a study, the trust recession. Okay. A trust recession is a period when trust between consumers and service providers, businesses and institutions, or politicians, whatever you want to put in that blank, is decreased. It can impact sales. It can impact brand loyalty. It can impact friendships. It can impact relationships. It can impact your ability to see the information right in front of you of what you should do, and you still don't do it. We're all guilty of it because we're growing and we're trying to protect ourselves. Oh man, I hired a coach last time, it didn't work. Oh, I got into this community last time, it didn't work. Oh, I started that business last time, so maybe I should learn from it, but maybe I should take like a year, 2 year, 3 year break and just chill on business. Oh man, that relationship didn't work last time, so it's going to carry over. There's a lot of unhealed trauma that a lot of us have bottled up inside that creates this worry, angst, frustration, discouragement, and really like a complacent like entrapment, as I call it. It's like, man, I don't feel like I can move because if I go left or if I make the decision again, I just rather stay right here. So recognizing what these things are and putting like words to it, then you can open up this world of opportunities a little bit more in this 2025, because there is so many opportunities. It's ridiculous. All right, let's jump into the economy, and I'll end off on our daily stoic and our pivot year reading. All right, put a 1 in the chat if we're good. If we're still good, let me check the chat really quick. Good, awesome. Everyone can see my screen as well. Cool. And we're right on time, about 20 minutes in. Okay. So let's go over the economy. A couple of things that are happening right now. First thing I do, look at the fear and greed index. Okay. Fear and greed index. This gives us a gauge of where our emotions are in the markets right now. Okay. So based on the confidence that consumers, i.e. us, retail investors, and also hedge funds, big money, as some of us say, the suits, the people with billion-dollar hedge funds, they can move the markets. So we're in a neutral stage right now. A neutral stage typically means we can go either way. The market's trying to factor in which way. Is it healthy, or are we pulling back and there's still more fear, right? So whenever you're in extreme fear, the market typically wants to continue a little bit higher. So I use this gauge, and a lot of our community members inside of Leverage use this gauge as a very simple investing tool. If you ever see, and it's free, right? You can just go on fear and greed on CNN and it pulls up and you can see, oh man, we're in extreme fear. So maybe I can go shopping a little bit. That means buying shares or potentially trading call options, meaning, remember, calls for my beginners going up, right? So I use this gauge a lot to see which direction the market may want to go. When we're close to a neutral stage, I tend to kind of sit a little bit, right? Just because I don't know necessarily where the market's going. I might pick up some dips depending on which stocks are in on discount, and I'll show you in just a second. But when we're in greed and extreme greed, that's when I kind of hold off on my buying. I might even place some puts because when people get greedy, guess what? We think the opposite, right? So when we're in fear, you want to think buying opportunities. When we're extreme greed, you want to think potentially, hey, we could pull back, right? So I'll show you that on the charts in just a second. Let's go to CNBC and see some news headlines and why the market kind of tanked towards the end of the day. It was a little bit of a flash crash, per se. And I've been mentioning this multiple times when people have been asking, especially those that haven't traded or like been like intensely involved in a Trump market. Whenever this man is like in office for the next 4 years, you just gotta be mindful that anything he says can move the market very, very drastically in an instant, right? So today he was mentioning towards the end of the day, hey, there might be some tariffs, with Mexico and also Canada. And that put extreme fear in the market really quick. It got bought up, but the SPY dropped $5 in a matter of 5 minutes. That's a lot, right? Also, you have this plane crash that's a little bit like iffy of what's going on. Like, are we under attack? Like American Airlines, like what's going on? Like, I don't know where this come from. It's at the nation's capital. Like all these sentiments give more of a, am I confident in putting my money with the stock market? Right. Or is the market going to be like, I don't know what's going on with the economy. I don't know what's going on with the US and what they're going to do yet. So let me just scale back a little bit. So as you're reading news headlines, fear in the market means I want to go shopping. So as there's more fear in these markets about all these distractions, right? And I think people get it twisted that Brian, you're always talking about this fear stuff, and I don't know if people think I'm fear mongering. I just want people to get a different view. So inside of Brian's brain, I see bad things happening, and I'm like, cool, let's go shopping. That's what's going on in my brain, even though it might not seem like it. I have long dated call options. I've bought some shares of NVIDIA, right? AMDL, things of that nature. So that's in a different like Charles Schwab portfolio for me, right? But when you see me day trading very fast, I'm going to trade off the levels for that day, right? So that I think that is the difference in more of a day trader or a trader in general that's in and out of the markets. I don't care personally that we are bullish. If the trade during the day presents a put opportunity, meaning coming down, I'm going to trade puts. And that's the difference, right? Because I'm looking in both directions. If it's at resistance, I'm not going to trade calls. I don't care if we are bullish. If we're in support, I'm not going to trade puts. So that's a day trader's mentality. But a swing trader's, which is the title of this video, a swing trader's mentality is I'm thinking bigger picture. So yeah, I'm going to pick up some dips for calls. I typically don't swing trade put options, or I don't play against the market when for a month or 2 months or whatever. Right. So if you've ever seen traders or whatnot, it's like, why'd they play puts today? Or how are they making money on puts? Like the market was bullish today. It's because your mind is a long-term investor. Your mind is not a trader, and that's okay. A trader does not care what's going on tomorrow or next week. What's happening today? Right? So here we go. Does that help? Put a 3 in the chat. Put a 3 in the chat if you're still trying to go listen to my psychology video on the channel. If that makes sense to you or you're still trying to understand, and you don't have to choose one way or the other. I have a long-term investor mind and I have a trader mind, right? Trader is what happened today. Are we bullish, bearish? Long-term investor mind, what's happening next month, 2 months? Cool, we're going up. It's a different mindset, right? And if you can't separate those mindsets, then just focus on what it is for you that's going to serve you. If you're like, I just can't play against the market, cool. Makeda asked a great question yesterday on my Instagram live. And if you don't know who Makeda is, she's a community member of ours inside of Leverage, and she's been around for a minute. She asked a great question. It's like, Brian, do you play call or puts? I say for beginners or anyone that's just starting, they can't conceptualize that the market, I don't get how you make money going down. Then don't think about that. Just wait for red days or big pullbacks, or there's fear in the markets. Look at the fear and greed index and go shopping on discounts and only buy call options, right? Only buy shares on dips and hold. That's your trading or investing strategy. You're not maybe ready to see both sides yet, and that's okay. All right. Cool. There's my little summary here. So all that being said, got a lot of fear mongering going in, got a lot of China sale, like the Apple, their Apple China sales are still kind of struggling a little bit, which is very important, right? They have a huge footprint in China for iPhones. So if their sales are declining, even though they beat earnings, it's a little bit iffy. Okay. This DeepSeek still a little bit on the horizon there about China again and AI. Okay. We good? Let me check the chat. Yeah, Nike. Let me check Visa reporting. People still shopping like it's 1928. It's ridiculous, bro. But I thought only a day trader was looking at today. I thought a swing trader was looking over a period. That's what I just said. Yep. A day trader is focused on what's happening today. So if you heard me summarize it at the end, Makeda, a day trader is focused on what's happening today. Right? Now show it on the charts. A swing trader or someone that's looking, the next week, the next month, the next couple of months, the quarter, they're focused on the bigger picture, which typically a swing trader is only seeing the market going up, right? There's no reason to swing against the market. There's no reason to hold an options trade for a couple of weeks against the market, right? But a day trader is cool with trading puts and calls both ways because they're only focused on today. Cool. All right. Let's jump into the market here and see what's going on. First of all, let's jump into Apple. Okay. Apple on the charts, you can see here that Apple kind of had some mixed feelings. So this candle gives me mixed feelings here. Why? Because it popped up, it's coming back down. It's kind of flat in my opinion. Right. And well, Brian, how do you know it's flat? It's just typically you want to see candles if it's very, very bullish and, you want to typically you'll see candles like that on Apple. If their earnings just absolutely blew it out of the water. Look at IBM. This is what you want to see from a positive earnings. You see that IBM candle? Oh, IBM, right? That's what a positive, like blow it out of the water earnings looks like. So when I see something that's kind of flat, like even Meta, in my opinion, was flat. Look at this. That means it's mixed. They can beat their earnings, but shareholders are not confident in, oh man, I know it's Meta, but still a little iffy. So you see it just chopped around. It didn't really go up, right? So Apple kind of gives me a little bit of the same sentiment. It's a little bit more solid, but still kind of choppy here. So in the morning, Apple, just be careful that, it needs to get above 250. Okay. That's my next level Apple. It needs to get above that 250 because if it doesn't get above 250, there's still resistance, as you can see right there at that underbelly at 246. Look at this last time. Support, resistance, a lot of action right here at this 247 area. So Apple, if it can't get even above 247, it could come right back to about 240. And I'd want to see how Apple reacts around 240. So it's kind of in this weird channel right here. It needs to break above 250 in my opinion, or break back down below 240. But they still beat their earnings, right? So there's Apple, a little bit mixed feelings right there. So we'll see how it reacts in the morning. Nothing to write home about. Let's go into, I think Visa's in the morning, or was it after hours? No, after hours. I think it was after hours. Yeah. They had a double beat. People still spending, which is wild to me. I think it's just at Legion. That's another one that was a sleeper. I think I told everybody on that stock sermon Sundays. So you see, even Visa was a little bit mixed. It popped, and we'll see tomorrow if this was is this if this is going to be a fake out. Visa is a very big player in the SPY S&P, right? Any finance institution, in this case, a network, right? We'll see if Visa's already kind of oversold. So I was looking to actually short Visa anyways, because this RSI was already high, right? So as a reminder for anyone, this is an indicator, RSI. Okay, go listen to my indicator video if you need help on indicators that I use. But RSI gives an indication of if it's overbought, too many cooks in the kitchen. Anytime I see a overbought, it starts to get in this caution zone up here. It's probably going to cool off very soon. Right? See that daily, it's already overbought there. And even on a monthly, overbought. Okay. Even on a weekly, overbought. So Visa, very soon, don't be surprised if Visa starts coming back. And like you said, Ben, even though people are spending, obviously in the holidays, they start to realize that, oh man, people are underneath water. Visa will come back pretty drastically like this at some point. I believe personally in 2025, or maybe their next later in 2025 or in next earnings, whatever. But we'll see a big hefty pullback in Visa pretty soon. Okay. So there's Visa. Let's see, at Legion team. Huge, decent beat, but again, still kind of mixed here. You see this like pop and it's starting to already fade. It doesn't look like IBM. So again, this tells me that the market's not really confident in any higher just yet, even with these positive earnings. Okay. So it's still a little bit iffy. So when I see these things on these earnings that it doesn't really continue, very similar to Microsoft, right? Microsoft double beat on their earnings, but their guidance was off. So Microsoft is like, man, why? Again, I have a video here on the channel about earnings. Why did Microsoft tank? They beat earnings is because their guidance was off. So again, this is coming into my sentiment, but now Microsoft is at a discount, right? And this is one of the swing trades we're looking at. So Microsoft, big gap fill, as you can see right there. I would love it a little bit lower if possible, right? On that daily candle, if it can come a little bit lower into these underneath 410, I like it even more. But Microsoft, great swing trade, great dip buying opportunity here. You can see all this buying action right here around this 410, 412 area, and a lot of buyers stacked up there. Okay. So don't be surprised in the next month, 2 months, whatever, Microsoft right back up here. Okay. So free game there for you. Let's see, SPY QQQ. Put in the chat if you want me to go over anything. Here's NVIDIA, right? A lot of buyers stacked up here on NVIDIA at 118. It looks like NVIDIA really doesn't want to break that 118 unless the market gives it up. So looks like this may be an area of interest that NVIDIA just wants to bounce off of, right? 118, 118, 118, 118, 118. We might not get that, 115 that we may have wanted. So if NVIDIA consolidates any more right here, it's been already 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 days of consolidation. NVIDIA could be ready to take off next week. All right. So pay attention to that. Another great swing trade opportunity for calls. All right. Extremely bullish on Google here. It is coming up into a resistance. So I did trade puts on Google today, personally. And that was a perfect example of why in the world would he trade puts on Google? Look at this. Google popped. It had a big gap fill right here. I traded from 201 back to 197 for 100+% on my money. So that's a day trader's mentality. A swing trader's mentality is like, hey, if I get a pullback on Google, I'm going to buy this dip at Google at 197 and take it back up. Right? That's a swing trader's mentality. But a day trader, I don't care if Google finished off positive or not. I got my 100+% on my contracts. So I don't really care. I'll reassess and see if Google's a great swing trade opportunity, but I don't like Google personally being at all-time highs and is coming into earnings next week. And what did Microsoft do? Microsoft pushed into their earnings and they tanked. right? So I'll just wait for Google to pull back at some point. I still got Google shares long term. Let me check the chat really quick. We're wrapping up here. IWM, AbbVie, Nike. Okay, cool. Hoka, Uggs, Tiva, Deck. I'm not going to go over all those. So if y'all see those in the chat, please, you didn't specify day or swing trading. That's what I want to clarify. Okay. Oops. I just closed the chat. Got to open that back up. All right, Makeda. Day trading. I'll go on IWM, day trading. Then I got to run, got dinner time. On the charts, the dark black area is what happened when the market was open. Okay, this is IWM. Doesn't matter what I'm looking at. So IWM today, this is what happened to it. Okay, so if I'm day trading, meaning I want to get in and out of the trade for that specific day, all I'm focused on is what is IWM doing back and forth at specific levels. Okay, so I've got to zoom out a little bit. The light gray area is when the market's closed. So this is what's happening to IWM after hours. Okay, and then the market will open up in the morning right here. So all I do is kind of zoom out a little bit and I'll start marking my areas of resistance and support. So look at there. What did IWM do at 229, 229, 229, and it hit 229 again today? It can't get above 230 confidently just yet. So I'm going to trade puts off of 229, 230. And that's what Dennis did today. Made really good money, right? Because it started to push up into this area. He traded puts from here and then held some, and then it tanked to the end of the day all the way down to his level. Okay. So that's a day trade. Okay. So I'm in and out of the trade within that specific day. A swing trade is I want to look at typically on a little higher time frame. Okay, so I'll go to these higher time frames and I'll look and see what's the bigger picture of IWM. Okay. And some things aren't swing tradable right now. Like IWM, I wouldn't swing trade IWM right now. You typically want to swing trade something, meaning swing trade means I'm carrying the contract. I go to sleep and I still haven't opened. I have not taken profit yet. Right. So that's what a swing trade is. So I would typically go into my contracts and pick a longer expiration and hold it. Okay. So that's what a day trade is versus a swing trade. Okay. So how do you decipher what's a good swing trading opportunity when I have something on extreme discount? So do you see this Microsoft? It tanked from 440, pretty much 450 down to 412. That is what I like when I see swing trading opportunities. Now I can go into Microsoft and yes, I can day trade Microsoft. Like, yeah, I could day trade it tomorrow, get a quick move on Microsoft back up to like 430, make 100% on my money. But it's probably a better swing trade. So I'd come out on the options, maybe start looking at maybe February 21st and come out to like, where's the full gap fill? Right? The full gap fill is all the way back up to 440. So I could come out to Microsoft and say, okay, maybe I'll look at 430 and 440 calls on Microsoft because I know it's trying to head back up to that level and just give it some time. So I'll go ahead and maybe, not financial advice for anybody that does it, but I think it's, if you're in the community or, you want to research it on your own, these are good contracts because I can go in here and look at this 440 contract and I can see how much it's going to be if it fills that gap. Little hack here. The contract is now $170 roughly. If Microsoft fills this gap all the way back up, this contract will be $1,400. So you just turned $100 into, you take the difference, right? You buy it at 184, you sell it. Just say it goes all the way back up to 440 before your contract expires. Okay, well, there you go. There's your $1,000 on one contract. You get the drift? That's a swing trade, right? When I see a big opportunity that I can trade it back up. Okay. I don't really want to maybe day trade it. I want to focus on, man, I could just set this for the whole month of February into March and just let it work for me. And what if it drops lower? Okay, I'll add another contract, right? That's a swing trade. I want to see big dip opportunities, right? Like Nvidia. See this big gap? Nvidia dropped from 150 down to 117, almost $40. Well, Nvidia is going to recover and be right back up to 150 very quickly. It's on discount, right? So this is another swing trading opportunity. I would come out maybe to March 21st or so, maybe start looking at, okay, where's Nvidia want to go? At least back to 150. How much are those contracts? About $300 to $400. Well, what if it goes back to 160? Okay, $200 or so. And you can see how much interest is on the contract as well. 132,000 of interest. That means a lot of people are looking at that same contract. Little hack, right? To help people pick contracts. February 21st, I'd probably come a little bit more into the money. I probably wouldn't go as far. Like I probably wouldn't go all the way up here to 150, but you see 100,000 people are already looking at that. It's only $80. So if Nvidia fills that full gap all the way back up to 140, 150 in the next month, that contract is going to go from $80. You can track it if you want, right? $80, probably all the way back to $500, $600, $700. So you just turn $80 into $700 in a couple weeks. Here's the 140s, not bad either. See how much interest is on those. Even the 125s in the money. People are like, shoot, I'm just going to buy these for 700. Because that 700 can go to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Does that make sense, Makeda? Day trading versus swing trading. Right? That's why I'm saying when I said earlier that on my Instagram live, why there's some massive opportunities for swing trading right now. Why the day trading's cool and we'll scalp meaning in and out of a trade within very quick 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes or so. Day trading, in and out of trade within the day. Cool. That's great. We'll make our money. But what if I don't have to trade every day or every week and just hold NVIDIA calls, hold Microsoft calls, UPS, another one. This will be my final one here. UPS, another sleeper. Where is it? Super discount. UPS is not going to stop their deliveries just because people are unionizing. It's fear mongering. Look at this. UPS went from 140 all the way down to 100. They're going to recover. Look, it's already recovering. Those contracts are about to fly, in my opinion. All right, so I'd go out to March. Look how much interest is already building on here. These contracts are even cheaper. $55, $17. Right, you can go out to June. Right, 135, $150. So some of these swing trades are even cheaper. And that gap will fill on UPS right back up and it'll be right back to 130. You see what I'm talking about? Free game for everybody. There you go. That's what I mean by some of these swing trading opportunities. These gaps are massive, right? And swing trading is a little bit different because you have to be comfortable trusting. That's why I like putting it in a separate account sometimes, or I just like don't even look at it. I know it's going to work out, right? Just let it work. As long as you're comfortable about what you put into it. So if you put $150 into it, cool. I'm not even thinking about $150. Let me just go find another way to make 150. Like that's how you have to think about swing trading because people will get a little bit anxious and worrying about their swing trade. They'll be checking it every day. Like, what is it doing? What is it doing? Like, just set it and forget it. Especially when something is severely oversold like this. Just give it time, about a month, 2 months, depending on what it is, or inside of your community if you want better contract selection, get inside of leverage. All right. Well, peace, love, and blessings. I said I was going to be 20, 30 minutes. This has been about 40. Thank y'all so much. If you got any final questions for me, I'll check the chat. But that is it. That is it for our Thought Leader Thursday. Yeah, that UPS is crazy. UPS is dead money in my opinion. That's why I don't want to own it, Ben. That's why I don't want to own it. But the contracts, they're moving. UPS went from $100 to $700 on just weekly contracts today. So if you've never traded UPS, those contracts move extremely well. So I'm not saying load the boat on UPS. I'm just saying, cool, if I can turn $100 into 1,000 on UPS, why not? I don't want to own shares of UPS, but I'll trade it. Yeah, that's the difference. I'll do short swing trades on UPS. I'll take advantage of it. Oh, I agree, Ben. I agree. There's a difference in my long swing trading opportunities and really taking advantage of a Nvidia and Microsoft. But if I can get a big move on from 110 back to 130 on UPS within a month, 2 months, I'll make my 100, 200, 300, 400%. Deck is better. Yeah. It all depends on what someone's trading too, right? Like I've traded UPS before, right? And I think Deck is awesome as well. I've not traded Deck, but that is a great swing trading opportunity as well. Deckers Outdoor, severely oversold. The only thing I don't like about this is the spreads. I don't like the spreads on Deck. That's my only thing. So when I'm swing trading, I want to have tighter spreads. So between the bid and the ask, that's $530 and $650. That's $100 spread. Some people don't care about that. I personally do. I like tighter spreads, meaning I can get in and out of a contract very quickly. So I could buy Deck at that price, and then I may not be able to sell it at what I want to sell it for because the spread is so wide, at least for options. But if you're just trading like you do, right? If you're just trading shares and equity, I think it's great. Cool. All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, it might have to be shares.